It's the single thread holding together the tapestry of humanity. It's the passive-aggressive hour. I'm Steve Reeves, the bull of American broadcasting, alongside Johnny the K. Kensel,
bull,
and the legendary Wid. Tonight, well, I have a special announcement. John has an unboxing and a lot of other stuff we're going to talk about and enjoy this program for a reason that you'll find out shortly. But first, we're going to go to John Kensel with his goddamn tweets for the fortnight. Johnny?
All right. Tweet.
Hey, April's coming up, and a great April Fool's Day prank is drug a violent baboon and put him in your aunt's house, then throw a bucket of hot water on him, then run. Hey, the worst thing that happened to me at college, I got drunk and I fell asleep, and someone got a magic marker and drew a face on my penis. And it was clown college, so it was all glittery and whatnot.
Did it have a little pug nose?
Yes. Believe you me, I know victimhood. In school, they used to tease me because of my name. They would sing John with the giant schlong. All the girls love him all day long because he treats them with respect and knows their boundaries. I used to cry myself to sleep every night.
This is not a best of.
I know.
John is reading that 10-year-old tweet live.
Wow.
I keep liking it. It is.
And he went to an all-boys school.
Here's another one, but like 9 years old. My friend accidentally ate 20 pounds of rat poison.
Wow.
He yelled for the antidote. I thought he said... How do you say antidote?
Antidote. Oh, anecdote?
I thought he said anecdote. And I proceeded...
Antidote?
Yeah. And I proceeded to tell him about the amusing incident about I saw Michael Winslow from Police Academy at IHOP. My friend was cremated 2 days later.
I saw him at a trade show, Michael Winslow, and he was amazing, okay, to see in real life and just doing it for people who were passing by. What a guy.
A trade show. He was selling something?
He was, some sort of, this was back when they didn't have computers. It was probably, they were selling tape, okay, a broadcast tape, okay, or recording tape that nobody uses anymore. So, but at one time it was very giant business, because of 8-tracks.
But he was selling something.
He was representing a certain company.
Gotcha.
He was, because of his, he made so many sounds. The Police Academy doesn't do him justice. He's very funny.
I worked with him. I thought he was a weirdo.
Did you?
He's got crazy eyes.
Really? The guy who makes noises
like I
with
said,
his mouth for a living was a weirdo?
Police Academy didn't give him justice.
You can't talk to him. It's just he just glares at you and just waits for his chance to jump in with
their sound effects.
Sound effects.
Wow, that would be
crazy.
John.
Hey, speaking of films, if Ken Burns wasn't a filmmaker, he'd be doing a one-man show about men who look like 12-year-old girls dressed up as the Beatles.
Or Buster Brown or Mo.
Yes.
He looks like those two.
In the year, this is something that came up in my memories, and it's not mine, it's somebody else's, but I thought it was very funny. In 2015, Leonard Nimoy died.
Oh.
And then about 2 days later, Harrison Ford got in a plane crash, almost got killed. Our friend of the show, Ed McGonigal, said, I'm glad Harrison Ford is okay. If Han Solo would have died just after Mr. Spock, it would have been Nerd 9/11.
I love Mr. Spock jokes.
This is true. Last year, I had to order a giant beer bottle on eBay for a prop comic I know because someone stole his. He does a midget and a bar fight impression with it. Well, last night in his storage facility, he found the original giant beer bottle. Now I'm stuck with a giant novelty beer bottle. I guess I could say I'm a big drinker or something stupid like that.
It's you Irish put it up as a shrine. Okay. No, no offense to my Irish friends. Okay, I can't say that. But
my last comedy show before the quarantine was I did a comedy show at the Polish American String Band Hall. And I didn't realize, but they paid me in pierogies. So I ran my counterfeit marker over them, and sure enough, they were fake fried dumplings. But the dancers at Flash dances didn't know that, though. All right.
Okay, the pierogies,
Yeah.
and then it went.
Forget it. We went off the
No,
rail.
I kind of like that. They were counterfeit, weren't they?
Speaking of cancel culture, I can't believe they canceled and censored all the Dr. Fellatio books.
That's what's on everybody's tongue.
Well, it warmed up in Pennsylvania today. All the snow melted, and boy, are the streets messed up with potholes. It's like a 10 on the Edward James Olmos face scale.
Brought to you by Clearasil.
Last night at my stupid nephew's bachelor party, they accidentally hired wallpaper strippers. So instead, we just rented Bugs and Malone on Netflix, so it wasn't a total loss.
That was off the wall.
Now this happened this week. I could, if I could do it, I tweeted this. I ate at a really depressing diner. It started with a bowl of Italian divorce soup, and the smoked fish was a grouper with a Newport in its mouth. So I sent that to the 102.9, the oldie station in Philadelphia, for John DeBello, the morning zoo guy on that station, and to read it, and he screwed it all up because I'm aiding at a really depressing dinner. I had a bowl of Italian wedding divorce soup, and the smoked fish was a Newport with a grouper in his mouth, and he said that. He said it all backwards. I'm thinking he must be dyslexic or something. This is an aside. All right. Hey, before we came here tonight, TMZ is reporting that O.J. Simpson's knife was located 20 years later. Follow-up, they just found Lee Harvey Oswald's spork in Dealey Plaza.
He was eating chicken.
Hey, all you friends out there who are in relationships, you know what they say? First comes the engagement ring. Then comes the wedding ring. Then comes the suffering. Then comes the buffering as you watch Pornhub on your iPhone in your closet.
Till death do you part.
This is a true story. My nephew Shane from the show here.
Oh, very funny man.
My nephew lost his sense of taste and tested positive for the coronavirus.
Ooh.
So I asked him, how'd you know you lost your sense of taste? Did you start liking Coldplay?
Oh, my God. I want my Nickelback.
Hey.
They hate Nickelback,
Yes.
right?
I don't know why. It's cool to hate them, right? Hey, I'm going to the this one. I'm going to the Atlantic City Boat Show this weekend. I'm not really into boats. I just want to see the did I say this right? I want to see the cast of Sopranos play the Harlem Globetrotters in a 40,000-gallon fish tank. All right, Wood, you might think this is cute.
I love
What? Oh, at the gun buyback program in my hometown, I turned in a pricing gum, and they said it didn't add up. So I gave them my caulk gun to seal the deal, and then everything was cool in the universe. And that's it for this week's tweets.
All right,
Special
Sean
show.
Kensel.
You
For
are
those
of the right
goddamn
caliber.
tweets.
You're the right caliber.
Thank you so much, John.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
So I guess not a lot going on, so not much to talk about. Anything you guys want to discuss? Or
Oh, yes. Since my mother passed away, she's friends with these these Russian cleaning ladies, and I consider they're Soviets because they speak really thick. Three of them don't talk. One does, and when she does, she drops one for your house, and for $50 they clean it. They just tidy up. My house isn't a mess anyway. But since my mom passed away and my dad passed away, their bedroom doors are just shut. It's nothing creepy like Norman Bates. I don't go in there. There's two bedrooms with nothing in there. Well, my dad's room has a couple of clothes baskets filled with Oogie puppets I've collected over the years.
of course.
And I forgot, she went in the room in the room today to straighten it up, and there was nothing she had to do there. But I noticed the puppets were moved. And I always thought that she's probably telling the lady, this guy's a weirdo with his puppets and the strings and his weird. But that's what happened today. And what else is going on? I'm getting my coronavirus shot tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic.
And I was up in the air about it too. I've spoken with some people who they don't want to get it. They think they think it was rushed through, it was too fast. It was really shoved through the door. And but my friend Al, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a milkman in New Jersey, but he got
Al
it.
the milkman.
Yeah, we know Al.
Yeah, he got it. Just his arm was a little bit sore. But what I've been hearing though is the second shot. It's a little tough. That's where you might feel like nauseous for a little bit.
Right.
But I have to get tomorrow morning at 8:20 at the convention center in Philadelphia. And I signed up.
Is that are you plugging your vaccination?
I'll be appearing at 8:30.
8:30 at the convention center.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's given out by Marines.
BYOS, bring your own syringe.
He got his done at a what do you call a vaccination?
You're talking about
a-thon.
WID. WID,
Yes.
you've been vaccinated.
Now, I have faith in the medical profession. Okay, I have faith in him because nobody has shown me. I like to pray and I like to have faith in the medical profession because what else do we have? I mean, we have alternatives that are a lot more harmful a lot of times than they are, and maybe I would dig a placebo, but I stood in line for I think 9 hours to get it.
Jeez.
Okay. In North Philadelphia on a cold night, okay? And everybody was out there, but the after a couple hours, the attitude sort of got a little bit more loose, and because it was so cold, the music was playing, okay? And people were dancing, and of course I danced too, not with anybody else but myself, but out there doing it. So it felt to me the first time that I was ever in like a government situation like that. I was never in a flood or a fire or anything like that where I had to stand and, it was because of the good black doctors, okay, at the Ludacris Center. What is that?
The Leah Corder Center on Temple University campus.
Right, in Temple University. And I was there, and they were nothing more than courteous to all these poor people. And when you're standing in line for hours and then you see somebody who is going to the back of the line and they got a walker or they're an old lady and you want to offer them,
Right.
But
You want to, but do you?
I'd say maybe if it was 30 minutes, okay. But, to stand there for 6 hours and you weren't allowed to do that.
Did you get your numbers?
Yeah. I mean, it was. I have to go back there on the 23rd or something to get my second shot.
Are you going to have to wait as long?
Well, yeah, I'll probably have to, but I don't think as long. I think they're a little bit more organized.
Mine, I had a choice of, it said you have 3 choices, the double shot, like one's 21 days later, one's 28 days later, or there's a third one.
By Johnson & Johnson.
It's one shot, but it wasn't available. We didn't get it yet.
Well, anything bad that happens to Johnson & Johnson is okay by me because I came from New Brunswick, the world headquarters, and they were very, let's say, domineering, okay, to all the beautiful town of New Brunswick. They kind of took it over and made vast vistas for their properties and stuff. Don't buy Band-Aids, okay? I said it.
What does that mean?
Well, they produce Band-Aids, so you don't want to
Johnson &
support
Johnson.
the Johnson family.
Yes.
That's where they made their money on Band-Aids, okay? Because actually they didn't invent the Band-Aid. They invented the little red thing that you pull. That's to keep it sanitary. That's what they invented, and that's where they made billions. That one little thread.
Are you a Jets fan?
What?
Are you a Jets fan?
Jets, the
Jets, the football team owned by the Johnsons.
No, my brother is, and so we are. I make fun of the Big Blue, okay, and because it's my brother, and we have some sort of rivalry. I mean, I'm not a big football fan, but
Really?
I have to stick with my Eagles because I'm South Philly all the way. So but I don't pay attention until they get to almost winning or winning too much, or
It's
And I love to pick on the Eagles a little bit.
After the election and it's just I'm sick of political talk radio, and you realize it's a scam like anything. But my brother keeps on the local sports station in Philadelphia, and the morning host Angelo, who I don't hate, but his Rhode Island accent just drives me crazy. He gets the show moving along, but he's like, so you mean to tell me that you saw a giant chicken hawk in your backyard? Get out of here! It's just like it drives me crazy.
Yeah, but see that whole format nationwide, sports talk radio is the only format where everybody who's in that position, all the on-air talent sounds like they shouldn't be speaking in front of a microphone.
Yes, and you're right about that too. Sometimes people you think they're like you hear like, this is a Doug from Delaware County. One day I'm going to say say my piece. I'm going to hang up and listen to the answer off the air. But sometimes you hear people talk like that, and they have a pretty insightful thing. Like they say some interesting, just because he has a voice of a trash truck driver.
But these are callers.
Yes.
The hosts have the voices of trash truck drivers.
Oh my God!
There's no disparity between the people who call in and the people hosting the shows.
Yeah. Oh my God! And sometimes that station would do remote broadcasts from a McDonald's by my house, and you see like the midday guys there, and people were just like eating Egg McMuffins in front of them, going, yeah, guess what? I saw that guy today, and it said, it makes you laugh because I know you can hear my accent. Imagine that my accent if I was
exactly
drunk and a roofer and putting salve on my neck tattoo as I talked, but my God, it's just you're right though. It's just like the voice is just.
And people have a really weird relationship with sports talk people. They hate them. The listeners claim to hate the people that they can't stop listening to.
That's a friend of the show, Mayo.
Joe Mayo, yeah. I mean, did that particular host get a restraining order against Mayo?
Yes.
I don't want to speak out of turn if that's not true.
No, it is true.
But I think there was some sort of situation where he had to stay away or stop contacting.
I know Mayo, and I know his gruff voice and his weird manner, and I respect it. But he got in trouble for.
There's a famous sports radio DJ.
Regionally famous,
But I will say one thing: even though people can't stand him, he knows does his homework.
But people can't stand him. But why?
Oh,
his job is to talk about sports. That's all he does.
He's arrogant, and it's and like if someone calls him with a different idea than he has, he'll like, you're an idiot. Next call, or you're an idiot, and people and just grates on people.
Well, then don't listen to him.
Exactly.
I don't understand the hatred for somebody you can opt out of having as part of your life.
I know. Well, a friend of the show, Mayo, got us from somebody he knew at
a funny comedian, Mayo.
Yeah. Great guy too.
At the phone company, he got hold of his cell phone, and would just unrelentlessly call him. And the host,
he got the number of this radio host's cell phone. All right.
And you can't. I guess he couldn't change a number because of. It's a media personality. He probably needs a cell phone for sports tips and stuff that's going on in the world. But he would crank call him relentless. Well, finally, he just traced the call and they got him, and they got a restraining order. And I think it was for 2 years he couldn't come within 1,000 feet of him. But somehow the day it was lifted, he went to an event. He was there. And it's like and that famous incident. When Opie and Anthony had the show over in Camden, and the second year they're there, this is the year after the Bill Burr incident.
Okay,
Mayo was the host of the show, so there's 10,000 people in the arena, and he just walked out, and he didn't really do any jokes, but he just said, "Yo," and he said F, the host's name, and he let a chant for 5 minutes, F, M, F, and he got them all on the side. He got them all cheering, got them all riled up, and he did his job, but it was funny. But our friend of the show also, Mike Rainey, got in touch with me on Facebook and mentioned something that was really funny. It was 9 years, when was 2012? 9 years ago?
Yeah.
No. Mayo and Mike Rainey did a benefit in Philadelphia at a big Irish place called Finnegan's Wake. There's a big hole in the basement.
Very always a little mobbed up, I think.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, I felt that. That's where they had the political comedy nights.
Yes.
There, and it was always like very sinister to go in there. There was always pockets of people talking about sinister things.
Allegedly, yeah. That was the vibe you got from the place.
Oh, I went past it a million times. This wasn't just a one deal thing. I saw it go through many incarnations because it was it was an Irish bar on my route, and I would want to go in and hang there, but I was always uncomfortable there.
Well, in the basement they had a whole, like for the comedy shows on the main floors for drinking and all the Irish people drinking on St. Patrick's Day, but in the basement we had a benefit, and I forget what their group was called, like comedians.
Comedians for a Cause.
Comedians for a Cause, and any cause you had, they would put a comedy show on for you. And they did a bunch of them, and it was very nice. Well, this one was for a women's cat shelter, and about 40 cat women showed up.
John, a women's cat shelter.
A woman's it was called the Women's Cat Rescue or something like that.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, let's go with that.
I'm not going to say.
Does that make any sense to you, Ed?
Well, it was.
No, I know where you're going, but
yes, you know where I'm going. Everybody knows where, but we're not an obvious.
Okay. Well, it was all women from a cat rescue.
Did you pet their cats?
Not these women. Yeah. No, they look like refrigerators with fright wigs. They were not pleasing. No. Right? Like ham hocks in their pocketbooks, and no. I hope this place has a chocolate fountain, like stuff like that. No. They were, and they all look like cat ladies. But here in the back of the room was a table full of about 20 hot, beautiful girls. And so we looked out, it was not ladies, but then he says table full of hot girls. So the show's about to start, and I go to Mayo. Do me a favor, Joe. Get the crowd looking up here. Tell them the show's going to start in 5 minutes, and then we'll start the comedy show. Well, I've said this before, but he walked up to the microphone and said, "Yo, any of you guys got to blow a shit or take a leak or change a blood rag? Do it now before the show starts in 5 minutes." Right? And it was and there were, and these are like,
what kind of balls does it take to get up there and say that?
And these women are sitting there like knitting Bible quotes on oven mitts and shit, like crocheting, like that, and they were shocked by that language, and it was hilarious. And then during Mike Rainey's set, right in front of the stage, a busboy comes by with a giant push cart filled with dishes to the top. It was completely way too many plates for it. And Mike goes, "What's this? The Rose Bowl parade?" and I'm in the back, and here we found out the second our show was over at like 9 o'clock. The second, there was a Chippendales review called "The Thunder from Down Under."
Okay, yeah.
And so all the cat ladies left, and we just left the stage, and all these like 10 bodybuilders went on stage. That's what the hot girls in the back of the room were there for. It was a bachelorette party. And he hired this male Chippendale group.
Was it really the Thunder from Down Under?
Yeah.
They were big in Las Vegas, the Thunder from Down Under, those male dancers, which, have you ever been to one of those shows?
No, I would have no reason to be at one of those shows. Have you?
Yes, I have. Because
as a participant?
No, as well, I guess I was a participant. I was the comic relief head of the male dancers in Tampa. And we referred to the club that it was in as a cauldron of syphilis, okay? Because it was such a sleazy Tampa. Tampa is the, go-go place of the world. But these guys, and the funniest one was a guy came out dressed as a bumblebee, okay? And they played that famous song, Flight of the Bumblebee. And he would go around to these girls, and he had a plunger sticking out of his backside, okay, not with the scrunchy side.
Yes.
And to look like a little bee stinger, and he would go around stinging the girls, and then I left. It's quite an experience, and they go crazy for him. And my friend Kevin Kearney told me that a proportion of them are are homosexuals, and they don't care about the numbers that they get. So he would get all the numbers that the girls would give to, the dancer. He goes, oh, here it is, and he loved it, Kevin booked those guys.
There was a comedian from Philadelphia originally who went out there. I think he was in L.A. too. And he's a short, dumpy, older guy, like he's like he just turned 71. And he looks like a nerd you'd see in a movie in the 50s, like a bowling.
Come on, I'm right here.
No, but his name was Perry Kurtz, and he got fame as they brought out 3 bodybuilders, and then he came out as the comic relief, and women would throw drinks at him and it was funny beginning, but I don't know. Imagine that's your Hollywood career. You're the circus geek of the Chippendales.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like that old Chris Farley sketch.
Yes,
with Patrick Swayze, where he was auditioning for the Chippendales.
Yeah,
Steve, that is. I think that's a very funny. It's sort of making fun of the morbidly obese,
right?
But
right.
and it's nothing that we don't see now on porno channels. But but for back then, and with. Who else was dancing with them? From
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze. And I thought that was a very funny sketch. He was funny.
Recently someone posted the thing about the people that, I think it was 1982. This last week was John Belushi died, and it's a shame. I wish there was a good term for it. He was neat back then because he could raise his eyebrow, but I never heard him say anything funny. It didn't, but you liked him. But it was sad that he died. But you watch it today, it's really dated.
Yeah.
And even Chris Farley, Chris Farley was maybe love. You can't not like a big guy like that. But he really was just over animated to 11. He was just and it was funny, but I don't know. Imagine being that amped up constantly.
He had a likable face,
yeah.
and I think that's what did it. And he was a little pantomime where he wouldn't have to talk all the time. His body actions, because when he slammed himself, it was really you could say precision.
And exactly right. Well, there's a documentary on Comedy Central about him, and it's they have videos of him when he was with Second City, and you see people look like us, having a scene, talking, and they go, "Oh, who's at the door? Oh, it's the vacuum cleaner salesman." He would come in and just make his body 20 times bigger. He'd walk like Godzilla. Oh, I'm here to sell vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
Ah. And it wasn't really what he said. It was how he just blew his body up. But I'm like even Belushi, same thing. They said when he came to a scene, you look at his face, so he raises up thick eyebrows and just be real animated. But man, I watch it today. Nope, it doesn't do anything for me.
He was a lot deeper, and all these letters that he wrote and all these, trials and tribulations that he went through. He was a lot deeper than I thought that John Belushi would be. I thought he was much more of a party boy, but everything, he kind of understood his career and understood his place, and was kind of miserable too in certain ways. That always astounds me.
But the miserable comedians. When I moved to L.A. years ago, I can't believe it's been 13 years now or 14 years. I was out there about a month, and that's when Rich Jenny killed himself.
Uh-huh.
But today's the day he did it, March, whatever today is.
God bless Rich Jenny.
Did you ever work with him?
Oh, yeah, tons of times. But he worked at Rascals a lot. Rascals in New Jersey, one of the it turned into a chain, had 4 or 5, had one down in Florida. Rascals, everybody, one was over in Cherry Hill. But I used to work with Rich Jenny, and he was the funniest of them all. He, and it killed me the kind of people that would like him, okay? Because it wasn't just, a certain, it was 8 to 80 who liked him. And he had such an edge to him. And I hear he's depressed because his career, and that seems so weird.
Yeah, that always amazed me because what I read about him was people get focused on one little thing. He was mad that he didn't have the career Seinfeld did because he had Platypus Man and was on WB for like 12 episodes, But here he was doing cruises. He was a booked at casinos. He was just a great working comic. He was probably making at least a couple $1 million a year. He was a spokesman for Staples or one of those stores, and just voiceovers and everything. But he just wasn't happy. The depression hit him. I've seen a photograph of him about 6 months before he died. He had dark circles under his eyes. These circles look like they were painted on. They were so. It's just a shame that he sunk into that depression. And what it was, he had breakfast in the morning with his girlfriend, and he went upstairs into the shower and shot himself, and he died like a day later. But the depression, that's weird. It's like sad too. It just you can see it.
He was a nice guy, and he would take you into his confidence, and he was like a little bit neurotic in a way because he'd be complaining and saying, and he'd go out there and he'd be the funniest guy in the world. I guess.
You know what's funny? I work with two famous national comedians, headliners.
Yeah.
And I asked them about him. What do you think of him dying? They go, he was a good comedian, but they go, I'm glad the son of a. The one comic's Christian comic, and he goes, I'm glad that mother effer's dead. And I couldn't believe this guy said this. And I go, why? He goes, he would badmouth me to other clubs. And another comic said the same thing. That he badmouthed them, and he got back to him like that. It was hurting their work.
Yeah, I guess I had an acquaintance relationship with him more than a friendship because he was who he was, but I was around a lot, and he was there too at the Rascals in Jersey, and God bless him. The depression sometimes takes different turns.
Did you ever did you ever have a famous comic not like you because you're props? Like
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes, John, you know the answer to this.
No, I was going to say somebody else.
Jerry Seinfeld was the first person I thought of because we talked about this years ago.
No, I thought it was somebody else. Was it? I thought it was Emo Phelps.
No, Emo used my props last time.
That's
remember?
Right. I thought you said somebody said prop comic.
Oh, I'm sure they did. And I know behind my back because people tell me, "Oh, Whit, I stick up for you when they say he's," But they don't say it to me directly. They always go, "Hey, and I'm a nice guy. I never, I'm not show busy."
But Seinfeld, he didn't like the fact that you called yourself legendary.
He warned other people against me. Now, there was a time that I was right. There was a girl called Tucci. And Tucci was in Nonsense. And she was also in the B-52's Love Shack video. She's one of the dancers with crazy 80s hair. We were writing, and she was on her way up. So we were writing a sitcom plot for her. And it was going to be that she was a girl in the, in the ghetto and wins the lottery and how it would change her life and everything. I guess there's one out like that, right?
Yeah, there's one called 1 in a Million with Shirley Hempel.
Yeah, something like that. But we were writing for that, and I was writing with the guy who was Costanza. It wasn't George Costanza. His real name was like Eddie Costanza, who was good friends with Seinfeld. And Eddie wasn't. He wasn't. He eventually got sued. He was the one that they based the name, not the character, but the Costanza. So he came back, after 2 weeks that we're doing it, and he says to me, he goes, "You know what? I don't think Jerry told me that. Yeah, he uses props and he makes stupid jokes, and he's not, he's too weird for you. You got to get away from him." Right, and that's what came out of it, and of course, he was sort of he was a great guy, and he had a special needs kid, and things like that, and his career was really going nowhere. I don't think he was a writer.
But I know he sued Seinfeld for like this infringement,
and using the name,
and he got nothing. It was like. He wanted like $2 million. It's like the one guy from The Simpsons.
But all he used was the name, because everybody knows Larry David was the inspiration behind George. Dom Irrera played you in Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, that's who else? I mean, I was right there when Dom and me don't get along because he was mean to me a couple times. And
what did he do? What did he do?
He just made fun of me and was mean to me, and he knows I don't like him, and I'm sure he don't like
Well,
me.
how was he mean to you? How did he make fun of you? What did he say?
I don't know. He was in some sort of altered state, and he said things that were hurting, and I said, and he did it time after time, right? And reflections on, of course, my props, of course, my my attitude, and long hair, whatever. He would cut me down, and I'm not into that sort of humor. Maybe I'm a little sensitive, but to get it from such a professional and to somebody who I started out with, it seems like kind of.
But
that's
that
all right.
could that just be the way he relates to other comics? Figuring, we're all in the same boat. Everybody can take a joke.
Some people, I'm not that type. I didn't have to depend on that. I hide behind my props. I'll say it, and I'm not as keen on having to be mean. I am mean sometimes, but not super mean. And Dom, I was an easy target because I was, he knew me from the beginning.
But your whole act is funny because it's so amped up. It's so frantic.
And I'm in on a joke too.
Yeah,
I sort of know it's taken over, and I do good when I'm out there. But you can't expect to be friends with all the comedians, okay? Because there are some that are really, treacherous people, And I'm not saying just because my feelings were hurt. I don't think so. It was too much negativity that you have to stay away from, especially for a guy like me with a lower self-esteem. I never pushed myself like that. I don't care. I didn't have a phone, or I didn't do that. And so maybe it hit home, and maybe it was a little bit, maybe it was a little bit too funny for me, and maybe I'm thin-skinned. But
it's weird because a lot of comics I know, like the guy who passed away, Kevin Meaney. I was working with him, and my phone rang, and Kevin Meaney goes, "Is that your phone?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Let me see," and it said "Wid" on my ID. And he goes, "Wid? Oh my God, I love Wid!" Right? And he took my phone. They talked for like 20 minutes. A couple years ago, that guy Dave Juskow, he's a Comedy Cellar regular, veteran comedian. He hired Wid to play his birthday party, so I had to drive up to what is that, Greenwich Village? What's that? Whatever.
It's the comedy. The Comedy Store, isn't it?
Comedy Cellar.
Comedy Cellar. I'm so sorry.
But I had to carry all Wid stuff there. But when all the comics found out about it, Artie Lang and Dave Attell, they were on cloud. And I go, Wid? They were freaking out.
Because I am a little bit mysterious. I mean, I'm down here in Philadelphia. I take all that stuff. I have all that stuff. I sort of defy the regular stand-up. I'm not like somebody who is going to do jokes like them, maybe I'll throw one or two in.
But all these New York guys clamor for an opportunity to watch you perform. Have you considered going back there?
Sure, but what has to happen is that David Juskow has to put me on his Tuesday night virtual show. I would like to do that, so they could see that.
There's a handful of times, I'll say 5 or 6 times, he got booked at Caroline's up in New York for a Monday night showcase, and the guy gives us a spot, and he had somebody else emceeing, me, then Wid, and we had to kill an hour and a half. So it was great. I'm like, oh my God! And I drove up there. Well, because it's New York, a bunch of comics called him and asked, "Can I do a 5-minute spot on the show?" It's 5-minute spot on the show. So the show is supposed to end at 9:30. Now it's going to end a little bit after 10.
They called Wid and asked this?
Yeah, no, they called the guy who ran the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was the nation's leading up until January 20th. He was the nation's leading Donald Trump impersonator comedian. All right, and but he was very good at it too. But anyway, he ran the show. Well,
very cheap shows,
yeah.
and it was. It was a filler night for them.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
So, did you do the show or not?
Yeah, we did. But what happened was, I'm not making it up. I bet you there'll be 8 guys who drop in, do 5-10 minutes each, and then some veterans would stop in, and they're like, these guys give it up. They go on stage and talk about shopping at Gimbals, like old, like Walter Mondale, right?
Yeah.
And so
Peter Stuyvesant and me.
yeah, so then he goes up. Well, the audience is all, they're all milked. They're tired. Like they saw it all, and also too up there, you think, oh, Caroline's, yeah, that's it. The Monday through Wednesday, it's all tourists. They have barkers outside saying, "Come on in." It's all tourists. So he's doing. There's 30 people there. Look like the children of the
They were from Belgium.
Yeah, Village of the Damned. They were like fixing clocks and eating chocolate on this.
Beautiful women, and they were spending lots of money, and they loved to laugh, but I don't think they understood anybody's jokes.
No.
And
but second language, if at all. Yeah.
And somebody said, "Come on down to the show," and what were they thinking? They're going to understand American comedians and. They know a basic.
It was a tourist trap. It's Caroline's, but it's right there on 49th on Times Square. But they had, that was the place for a while. I was on 2 of their TV shows.
I remember when I first went to Caroline's, they had a main floor. The store, the show was downstairs, but the main floor was a restaurant. And when it first opened, I don't know how they had like Lucy and Ricky impersonators as your waiters and waitresses, and it was like they were wannabe comedians, so they had to work there, and it was just
like in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, when Buddy Holly with Steve Buscemi.
What was it? Jackrabbit
Slims.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jackrabbit Slims. See,
Yeah.
I'm current, but. But that was creepy. I thought that was. They tried to open up one of those in Philadelphia, and it had the cars that the seats made out of the back of a '57 Chevy and all '50s, and people were imitating other. But it only lasted, like a couple months, right on Second and South, and what happened is somebody got shot there right in the front floor. Dressed up as a Mexican, dressed up as a Mexican, and a fight occurred, and there went their reputation.
I mentioned him earlier, but 1 year I got in the Las Vegas Comedy Festival, and it was fun. Me and Mike the X-Rated bus driver went, and it was really fun. Well, the next year, Ed McGonigal goes, "Let's do a trip out there," and he booked a hotel. And the first year we were at it's the one with the Eiffel Tower, the Parisian, something like that. It was beautiful. It was so clean carpets and fresh paint. It was really nice. Well, Ed books this trip for the next year, and it was at some shitty casino. And it's a casino where they filmed Austin Powers in it. But every worker in the casino was celebrity impersonators. It was like Blues Brothers dealing blackjack and Marilyn, and it was real low end Marilyn Monroe with a fake wig on.
If you had to do that, who would you want to imitate as an impersonating waiter?
You think about it. You want to do somebody different. I don't know, like Mr. Mooney from the Mr. Furley.
Steve, who would you attempt to be as a imitating waiter?
That's a tough one. Does it have to be somebody I would like to look like? Is that the question, or is it be who would I like to?
No, that you would feel an affinity and that you could actually pull off the character.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Cal Muller. I don't think anybody would know who I was portraying, but yeah, I think that's one I would like to.
Hi, this is Cal.
I think
you're on the air.
That's a very good Cal.
I think I'd go as one of the Hanson brothers. Okay.
Oh,
Hanson brothers from Slapstick.
Right,
okay.
Dated,
who still played with toys in their adulthood. So that's exactly what I do.
Dated movie. Watch that again. Your memories are better than it is. Dude,
I kind of like the sexist guy talk in the locker room. And there was one guy, real Southern-looking guy, not Paul Newman, the second lead, and it was like
Michael Onkeen.
Might have been, yeah. But that was such a, every curse word in the book, everything. But The Hanson brothers sort of saved that movie.
You know, it's a weird movie. Not it's a weird movie. When it came out, it was like so you never saw anything like it before. But it was a lot of overlapping dialogue. There's hardly a story to it. It's just people what happens in them for like a couple weeks. But they were trying to do that. Who's the guy who made Nashville?
Robert Altman.
He loved overlapping conversations in his movies, and it was interesting. But the story did not really progress. When you watch Slapshot again, it's people talking over each other. It's neat to see the characters arrive and say crazy things, and the guy gets hit with the hockey puck. But watch it today. But Paul Newman says that's his favorite movie he ever did. Of all time.
You know, he's sort of a macho guy. I guess he just liked being around the guys playing, hockey. But my favorite Paul Newman movie has got to be, the one, the only. Where he eats all the eggs.
Cool Hand Luke, yeah.
No, it's weird. I never saw it. I know that scene. I never saw the movie.
Wow, you haven't?
No, I haven't seen. I never saw Dirty Dancing. I never
no
saw
wonder
Top
you have
Gun.
a problem to communicate.
And
okay.
I'm Victor Von Movies, and I haven't seen a lot of things that people talk about. Top Gun, Willow, and the Labyrinth, and
I never saw those two, Willow and Labyrinth. Top Gun is, the Iceman, man. He flies upside down.
Now, I want to ask Taylor something. We're coming up on 8:15. We started late. What kind of time frame are we looking at here?
We can go the hour.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're the coolest.
In that case, shall I make? I've
yes.
kind of an announcement to make.
Yes.
And we'll get to the unboxing in a second. Oh, you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've been a part of this program for 8.5 years. Hey, 8.5 years.
I see our things.
How many people do something for 8.5 years?
And it's the nobody. That's the longest running podcast in the area.
Right. Well, in the world of podcasting, area doesn't matter. By virtue of being on the internet, you're taking part in a global medium.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where the mics are located. Well, I love this show, and I appreciate everything it's done for me and everything that it's allowed me to become. And should it continue, which I hope it will, I look forward to seeing it evolve even more. But I will have to do that as a fan, as a listener, as a friend, but not as a co-host. It's time for the bull to move on, and I've been offered an opportunity to do something more in line with my strengths and ambitions, and that's a separate announcement I'm going to save for social media in perhaps a week or two. But tonight, I just want to enjoy the company and our remaining time together in this format on this platform. And I also want to say thank you, John. Thank you, Wid. Thanks, Chris, Dan, Darren, Nick, Eric, and also Brad. Now, John, this is when you respond with the story about you letting an additional cat into someone's house.
I've done that several times.
What?
So that's it. That's all I have to say.
Oh no, Steve!
Let the cat out of the bag, John.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Steve. I know what I really think a really good strength of yours is your interviewing style. You have such a pleasing voice.
Okay, but John, you're going to make me uncomfortable.
Oh, no, I know. Oh, well,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And everything's fine.
Yeah, it's weird. It's nice when things like there's no big Opie and Anthony fight,
Right.
Or people storming out of the place and freaking out.
Well, I sure hope there's not.
The show isn't over yet.
No. the night's still young, John.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like if I didn't take this opportunity, I'd be a coward.
No,
So,
go for it. You got to.
I'm going to seize on it, but I'm not going to get into what it is or what's going on because there's a lot I still don't know.
Sure, I
But
understand.
all I know is it would conflict with and make it impossible for me to continue to do this. And I appreciate the kindness you've showed me
This.
as a result of this. And
I know you've heard me say over the years this is my favorite night of the week because it's being what do you call it, a generic, not natural comedy. Like comedy comes out of like our stories and who we are.
yeah, in the run of play.
Yes, and in comedy clubs on weekends you have to say your rehearsed stuff. Here it's like when bands got to sing the same song a million times. This things fly around and it's great to have an opinion and get it out. It makes me feel alive. Sometimes I don't mind the paycheck, and I love comedy, but this is the show I really enjoy. It's funny, and I can only think about a couple of shows that were freaky.
That's what you want to call them?
Yeah, well, I'll say it now. I don't give a shit. I was thinking about what was one of the worst shows we ever had, and it wasn't anything we did.
Right.
It was our guest, this guy Tommy Toohill.
Oh.
And
You know this guy with Tommy Toohill? He's basically an open micer in the Philadelphia,
Tommy
Pennsylvania.
He's a white guy.
Yeah, Tommy Toohill. Sounds like an Indian, but
I worked at the
he's not
Laugh House. There's about 100 Tommy 2 up the blocks, and from New York But no, how was he? How was he so upsetting to you guys?
Well, I can tell you this. Before the show, he walked up, and I was chatting with Dr. Feelgood, and he immediately starts telling Dan, this is the first time we've ever met this chap.
Okay. And what does he do? Is he a
approaches us-
comedian?
Allegedly. Not on this night.
Okay.
He wasn't even a guest on this night. I don't know how you would describe his appearance, but the first thing he says to Dan and to me, again, we're just meeting this guy for the first time, is this idea he had about filling a football field with bouncy castles. That was it. But he went on about this for like 10 minutes. Maybe he was high. I don't know what the deal was with this cat, but man, during John's tweets, we go in and do the show. John starts doing tweets. Tommy Toohill is staring at the banner behind us. We used to have the banner of the platform behind us.
Right.
And he was just staring at the banner, not listening to John, unaware that any other human was talking or there was a show going on. And Darren actually pulled out his phone and took footage of this guy staring at the banner during John's tweets. How do you do that? How are you not engaged by the tweets? I don't understand it.
And I don't know whatever happened to him.
Some people self-medicate before they
Yes.
go into anything that is a little bit stressful, such as, that's
Well,
why...
we all know people who do that, but usually it contributes to their performance in some way. This guy, I don't know, it was like he was in a coma.
And it's just a drippy episode, and it was not my... it wasn't fun. It was you walked out like, oh, my God, and what a dull...
Who else did you find that was... you don't have to name names
We can.
until after, and then I'll sell it on the internet.
No, actually, we got funny things out of people. I love the Joe Moore and Brian Craig.
Joe Moore and Brian Craig, the John Kensel fan club.
That was funny.
That was a lot of fun.
Bradley, when he called him with the... when he came in the studio with the first versions of songs, the long versions, was very funny. And it was fun. It was funny. It was the crazy characters. When Chip Chancher would call in, the couple times we had him in the studio, he played a woman who disagreed with everything I said.
The famous Chip Chantry, very funny comedian, playing all over the country now.
Yes, they were all fun. It's when Eric Todd started. It was hilarious. We did a couple theme shows where it was like a wake up morning show.
And South Dakota, what was South Dakota? That's what I.
That's a state. It's the Upper Midwest.
No, what?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
No, I mean, you used to have a thing about South Dakota.
Right. Well, it's not a thing. It's my most beloved place on the planet. So
Well, can I
I
tell
would
you-
talk about South Dakota frequently because I'm, yes?
South Dakota.
Two of the happiest cities in the United States
Are in North Dakota, unfortunately.
I got
And
the
Bismarck
mixed
and Fargo were on the list. I think they were 2 and 3.
up. Oh well, you're pretty darn close.
By the way,
then.
both great places. Yeah, Fargo.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
4.5 hours away.
I think that was the coldest I have ever been in
Fargo.
North Dakota. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
outside.
that list you just said about the happiest places, did you see what the most unhappiest place is?
I think we're -8. Okay,
It's
I think that's,
Philadelphia.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Philly is.
at the bottom.
Yeah. Which I don't really believe. I think that people are just a little
Well,
bit.
I'm pretty sure my announcement will cheer people up. John, do you want to open this box? We're
Oh,
up
now-
against the
yeah.
clock here.
Now, the Soviet cleaning women who came to my house, I mentioned at the beginning of the show.
Now, you say Soviet. I assume that means that they're elderly, so therefore they were part of the Soviet Union when they were children or before they immigrated? Or, John, are you listening to me?
Yes,
Is
it's a-
Tommy
yes.
Toohill back in the studio?
Actually, there was a couple of hot ones.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're not like, peeling potatoes as they're talking to me.
Right.
But I noticed they go into my bedroom and they fold my sheets and they actually fold my clothes and put it, because I only have a kitchen and a bathroom I use. I just and in my bedroom they fold the sheets. But I noticed this box sticking out from under my bed, And I'm thinking, what is that? When did I get that? And I wasn't drinking when I bought it, but I think I know what's in here, but
You don't know for sure.
Wait, I'm 99% sure from the past 8 years I know what's in here.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Right? But I think,
What would you think, Steve?
I'm saying Oogie Puppet.
it feels like it.
What do you think, Whit?
I think it has something to do with Fonzie again. Yeah,
But
Fonzie or some.
I don't know. The
classic-
Fonzie obsession is fairly recent. I'm not sure if this this might predate
but I want
that very strange hobby.
We're going to give this to Steve to open. because
you can probably use the pen.
It's Steve's night tonight. On to bigger and better things, Steve.
But I did not.
Well, I don't want to overhype it.
Maybe use you don't care if I rip it open.
That's it. Look at him. Look at him how he does that.
Oh, I guess it is. Or what is it?
Oh well.
Uh-oh, I see something. Uh-oh, it definitely isn't a Fonzie glass.
I don't want to damage this. It looks like that's possible
Uh-oh.
because it's very well wrapped.
Oh,
It's definitely I think it's one of those you put your hand through the one side and
Yeah.
there's a stick to hold on to the base.
What?
Or that is the base.
Oh, this is an unveiling.
Oh no,
right
it's
over
not.
there.
It's not Oogie. It's a variation. What would you call it? Does this guy have a name?
Peppy.
Peppy.
Look at Peppy. Oh my God, that's the new announcer right there. Okay, since Steve is leaving, Peppy is now going to.
There are some things I'm not going to miss.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest.
Bring a puppet to a podcast that you can't see.
I'm 43 years old, holding a puppet up to a camera.
That's you
know,
know that's how Howdy Doody started.
This is, I think, from like 1965, and apparently they were huge in Europe. There was a major Pelham puppets, but if you can see it, and it stinks like 1960. But I have something that's similar to this, a different shirt on it, and I had it back in my truck, and I was helping Whit unload his stuff, and it fell out, and his face smashed open.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it stinks too.
any idea how much you paid for this?
$35. But it's weird. It sounds
If you
weird.
look on an eBay in the United States, it is so much more of a markup on those.
I got a couple of Oogie puppets from the Uncle Floyd show, and they won.
What's the official name of those kind of puppets?
Pelham Vent puppets. Like, all right.
Pelham Vent.
Pelham, that's the name of the company.
Okay.
But they're big in Europe. I guess little European kids like to, eating chocolates and eating meat pies and blood pudding, and weird puppets like that. All right. And I have one like that. Only his skin tone's darker. Pepe's Italian, but there's a Spanish one with a name that's like some Spanish name.
You mean there's other Peppies out there? They're not all unique?
No, that's the Pepe model, like a Buick or a Dodge. And the Oogie puppets, his name's Walter.
Okay.
But this one here, there's a darker version. It's Spanish, whatever his name is, right? And I brought it to a show one night, and I because of the quarantine, I wear the face mask.
Right.
And I go, hey, this quarantine's really helping my ventriloquism out. And I tell like 3 simple little jokes, stupid dad jokes, and everybody's like,
In the ventriloquist.
all right, yes, and you can't see my mouth moving. It's funny. The crowd's laughing at. Well, the 4th joke, some horrible, dirty joke. It's filthy, right? And it's ridiculous. Well,
Is that about the squirrels?
the squirrels, yes.
Okay.
Well, I get done the show with Pepe, who looks just like that puppet there, and he's a little bit more like oak colored.
Okay. 30 seconds, John, if that.
A black comic went after me and said I was a racist because I had a racist black puppet.
John Kensel is a racist. That's how we're... folks, thank you so much for putting up with me for the last 8.5 years.
Steve, we love you,
I hope you
Steve.
continue to put up with these gentlemen. I love you guys. I appreciate
love you
you
too,
guys.
Steve.
And
Peace,
thank you
brother.
for all.
Peace.
Thank you for all the fun, all the laughs, and hey, for the legendary Whit, for John Kensel, I'm Steve Rees. Oski Wee.
Oski Wawa.
Hola Magano.
Tie cats.
Eat 'em raw. We did it.
Having fun.